Good morrow, people of the internet, and welcome to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Last time, we did some court. This time, I think we're doing more court. And this is either the finale or the next episode. I don't know. But I think we're done soon. Let me just pull up the walkthrough properly. Okay, yeah. Okay, I think next episode will be the final. I don't know. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Oh, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? Got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective run all around while on duty. Skype! Skype, do not disturb. Okay, good. Good, okay. Let's chop it off. You call me here. I've seen a lot happier people at funerals. And take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give you this. This to you if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law? Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. I'm sure you know the 2 rules of evidence law, don't you, Wright? Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book. I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Securely slipped evidence law into pocket. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat? Despite all these allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out she unwillingly caused a man's death, and now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She immediately stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're gonna expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. February 25th, 12:52, District Court, Courtroom Number 9. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor? The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that Mr. Edgeworth may have, struck a bargain? You think I may have manipulated the witness? I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's never been a case example. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The defense may now call forth its next witness. Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, the trial is as good as over. The defense calls... finally come to bring out the real murderer. Detective Goodman! Bring Detective Goodman to the stage! What's the walkthrough say? Present Damon Gant. Damon Gantu. Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be least likely to have been manipulated by me in a way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. Alright. Bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this? Some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Get your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto. What's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean the time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There's still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure, take my testimony for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it a certain risk. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony. The SL9 incident. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma said Neil flying, it seemed Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast. SL9 incident. Okay, walk through. Help me. Gant says before Dark was arrested, he was knocked unconscious when Emma put Gant, please present the unstable jar or the evidence list in Gant's fifth statement. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gant's fifth statement. Unstable jar evidence list. I think the evidence list is packed more of a punch. ID card, that's a shoe. Evidence list. Objection! You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Is the volume up? No, it's not up good enough for me. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this list, for example. That's the list Emma Sky drew her picture on. It was discovered in your desk. Not only that, but a piece of this jar that was sitting in your office was found inside your safe. It was found where? You see, Chief Gunn, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you were also played a part in the illegal investigation. I love this music. Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this?
Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy.
So you'd admit to it then? That you were involved in the forgery?
Who, me? Or did you mean you?
Me? Why would I have anything to do with that?
Well, you are the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Wright?
Objection! However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation.
Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment.
What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene.
My, kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together.
Witness testimony, evidence and forgery.
Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way.
Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol.
You do understand that I'm the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Indeed, I believe I'll press charges
so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know.
Alright, Aji. In return, though.
I know. That place, right? Huh? What are these guys, telepathic? Evidence and forgery. Well, as a defense, we have a right. Press on Gant's fifth statement. Just Gant likes his fifth statements. 2, 3, 4, 5. Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all this.
Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit?
That would of course be the position you have, Chief of Police. Oh. The resolution of the SL9 has secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive.
Oh, that's a good one.
Huh?
Do you really think I'm that incompetent?
What do you mean?
Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of the SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little.
Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway.
Gah! Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at.
So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else.
Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Aji, would you mind if I change my testimony a little?
By all means, please do. Be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. There's definitely something in it for me. Press on that statement, there was nothing in it for him. Gant didn't care about Emma at all. Well. Nothing in it for you?
Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again.
You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone.
Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised.
You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though.
Oh, that's a good one, Worthy.
Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? Point out the accomplice. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Very well, I'll ask. Who is the person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Lana Sky? There we go. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky. That's the defendant. I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Sky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who'd want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gunn, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Sky was appointed Chief Prosecutor of the Prosecutor's Office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gunn. But how would he profit from all this? He would be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Sky in forging evidence. Your motive? To appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her.
Right on, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing?
Lana... She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gan. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The Chief Prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her.
Worthy, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt.
Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? What? Order! 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 I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious! Huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the Chief of Police of blackmail and murder? That's... impossible! Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easy-to-understand language.
It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now.
Looks like we're the only... it looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the Chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Just remember, it better be good. Judge will need to show the evidence, showing she present ID record. Take that! This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one said ID, the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7777777.
Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number.
It's your card number. What? How do you know that?
The safe in Chief Gunn's office requires a code to unopen. A 7-digit code.
7 digits? You don't mean...
I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list.
Chief Gunn, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Order! Order! Chief Gunn, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense search for my office was in violation of regulations.
And I would demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card.
Chief Gaunt, so you admit it? You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? Or about it? I'm chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want.
Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do the evidence room. Detective Gumman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he?
Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. Objection!
You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gunn, I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman.
What do you mean?
The trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. Objection! No, it's not, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant that day of the crime. Present Goodman's lost item report. Really? I won't argue with the walkthrough. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filed out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the Chief of Police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, Chief of Police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait! The Chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of this sort. Objection! Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. But you showed us your ID card earlier. If you really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found in his body. No! Chief Gant, you didn't! The murder was most likely committed on the spur of the moment. No one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why else? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body. Objection! However, the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so.
Chief Gunn, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. How could the chief move the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gunn used this. Said the screwdriver. Oh no. Take that! This is how we moved Detective Goodman's body. What's that? A screwdriver? What does that have to do with this case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is the screwdriver doing here? It's here because... Ah! I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it at the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back to the prosecutor's office. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office. But you did, because Chief Gan asked you to. You mean The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. Of course, Mr. Edgeworth didn't know what he was doing. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes, unless of course you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to carry evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Order! 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 What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusation? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. Exactly the opposite. It was the photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe. Your time's up. My time's up?
Sorry, Rhino, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special.
Objection! But the cross-examination isn't finished yet.
Remember what I told you earlier?
He can't fucking leave in the middle of that. He's just been proven guilty of murder. He can't fucking leave in the middle of that. That's ridiculous.
Our chief of police has all kinds of weapons at his disposal.
Weapons?
Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now.
What? That's not a right to be casually invoked, or a certain risk to be considered. Objection! So we're going to just run away after all this?
Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now.
Well,
You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with.
Well, I say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. The court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright? Your Honor? Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body. Do I have concrete proof? I don't think I have that proof! Gant leaves and the judge penalizes you for... Ha! I have no proof yet. It's no use showing evidence it's not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence.
See, Archie?
In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What?
I don't gamble unless the stakes are high. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Archie, I'll leave the rest to you.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That is clear bullshit. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an effort to senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. What? Objection! Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had her honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth, another witness.
In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One more person who can answer the questions. Oh god, look at this. It's just going to hell, all of this, isn't it? What even is this? I want to check this. Oh god. It's not looking good for us, is it? Raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling the witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She might not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth... Lana Skye. Lana Skye. Lana Skye. The defendant. Miss Lana Skye? She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 PM on February 21st. A task to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defense testimony. The court is now in Hold on! Huh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to go eat. Listen good, Lana. You're talking to Lana? I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claim, there'll be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Gah! This isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. We're so fucked! February 25th, 2:04 PM, District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 2. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. Thanks for your help, Edgeworth. That chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. No, don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. Did he mean... Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves right now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair, he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said? But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his any right to say anything too? Hey, it's that girl. Emma, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was at the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by the terrible man, and she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside. Forced herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. It must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be
Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we better go back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait here? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there, when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. Don't be too beat. Oh my fucking god! Thanks, game. I just wanted to end this. Sure. I don't have a thumbnail already. That's a bit of a problem. Next time on Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. How long have we been going for? Let's end this. Let's end this right here, right now. Alright? Okay. Let me open the correct page, though. Ooh, this seems to be a long one. Oh, really? Let's do it. Let's end this right here, right now. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take to the stand? Miss Lana Skye, you're the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. You want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. The only chance we have is to get Gant. Gant and the fabrication. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to his blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma.
Are you sure about this testimony?
Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana!
If this is true, that means Chief Gant was nothing to do with this.
That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me.
What if she's telling the truth?
She's not. I know my sister. Whenever she sees stiffy like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony.
Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Gant and the fabrication. Okay. Press Lana's fourth statement. 1, 2, 3, 4. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body.
What?
That's not true, though. But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dream was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement.
You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark?
Something like that.
If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife.
Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distant away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle.
That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies.
All just to protect me.
So, when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to.
Yes.
She did what? Press on that statement. Why did you move the body? You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the victim's wound?
And then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that?
You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders.
My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of others. Why did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body?
It was where you deducted it was, by Chief Gant's desk.
But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there?
The reason for that is simple.
Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Guy moved the body.
Piece something unstable jar on that statement. Present unstable jar.
Objection! Miss Guy, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean that forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been useless. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction with your testimony.
A contradiction in my testimony?
You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan."
That's right.
Do you have a problem with that? Simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood.
Yes, the prosecution must have written in its final moments.
Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Order! Order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. You may be missing something crucial here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we were about the truth towards which we're headed.
What?
Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony. Jar and message in blood.
I immediately noticed blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered.
You mean you were the one who wiped away this message in blood?
I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time.
She didn't think Dark was the real...
She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence.
Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Okay.
On Lana's false statement, present the unstable jar. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it the fourth? I think this is... No. Fucking Phoenix. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office.
The detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now I carry a pocket light and camera with me. Even I carry my bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. I never miss anything. I get every last piece.
Present. Objection! Miss Skye, I believe the shot conceals a truth even you are unaware of.
What?
We found the final piece of the jar in Chief Gant's safe.
In the chief's safe? But how?
I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified. She gathered every last piece of evidence and wiped the blood off them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecution Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. But could the defendant have simply missed a piece? Objection!
I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Ha! Can you believe that? Objection! Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When the witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way the name could have been written on the shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant at the time he was looking. The dog's downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar? Objection! The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No! Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication. But why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her to create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma, and here is the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the chief's puppet. No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you don't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. Guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. Do I? Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana, maybe right after all. What do you mean, Wright? So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of the prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Marshall. Miss Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Alright, the witness may now testify once more for the final time. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor's sword. Emma and Dirk were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor's sword? You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright, she really does have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her then. Then let's check the evidence again. Must be a picture somewhere in here. She gave us the rules, didn't she? Check the evidence law book. There we go. Let's open it up. Hey, there's a picture here. Oh, sorry, being silent there. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. That's because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I rearranged the scene. On the picture, inserted in the court record. Gasp! Mr. Wright! The picture cut from this vest. Could that be... The piece cut out from the vest, could that be the cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe? What's this? And it had Emma's handprints on it. It's a handprint. That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whoever fingerprints those were must be the real murderer. What? But those fingerprints... They're yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Actual crime scene. Crime scene. Okay. Hold it. Get out of Noah, come to the stand. And if you don't... Gan out of Noah comes to the stand as he saw. Edward tells Gan he has already forfeited shots to make further statements. Gan says he doesn't have to, as he claims you have the evidence that says who the real matter is. You have a choice to present it or not. The piece of cloth Emma's handprint on it. You don't want to yet finger her as the murderer, so choose cannot show evidence. Okay. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled. Hold it!
Come now, Udgy. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen.
Chief Gant.
What? Now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense.
Objection! I'm afraid it's too late for that.
What?
You already declined testimony. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be the risk the judge was talking about. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck.
Ah, so what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I didn't need to make any statements.
What do you mean?
The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence.
Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have conclusive evidence?
No, I don't, but someone does.
Someone?
So then, what's your excuse, Righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death? Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt?
Is this true, Mr. Wright? If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. Right. If you have any more evidence, present it now. If you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? I better think this through carefully. Can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed the prosecutor marshal? Cannot show evidence. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie! Chief Gant? You opened my safe! I know you took what was inside! The conclusive evidence! I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together.
Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know those fingerprints are on it. That's why you would present it.
What are you talking about?
Chief Gant. Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. You see the victim's vest?
Noticing anything out of the chest area?
Looks like a part of the jar has been cut off for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gal right home. Well?
I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened.
What? You mean you admit to it?
I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. When it occurred to me
that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her? I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, then that when she saw the scene, she would ask me for my aid. So you assisted Miss Skye? I told her to arrange all the evidence. I planted the knife tip in the victim's body and moved the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Duck convicted.
When we arranged the crime scene,
I hid 2 pieces of evidence. I did this before Lana arrived at the scene. 2 pieces of evidence? You mean those items in your safe? But why? For insurance, of course.
Insurance? I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to prepare for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed.
You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence?
Who do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make a police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hit the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces.
Objection! But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar too? Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept 1 more item for insurance.
You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Wright, cover it up already. I know you have it.
What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright?
So you admit to it then, Chief Gunn.
You were hiding the cloth that you cut off the victim's vest in your safe? Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Righto. You should have shown it then before it was too late. It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up, here victory is mine. Let's walk through say, show evidence, then present the piece of cloth. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest.
Oh yes! At least you finally brought it out into the open.
There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean, it could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence.
You're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy.
What?
Think about it. Wright had all this time to present this evidence. yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be?
You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that?
Mr. Wright, do you really know?
Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well. I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person whom these fingerprints belong to are... I'm guessing it's Emma. Present Emma Sky's profile.
Take that!
Emma Sky?
What? They're mine?
I'm sorry, Emma.
But why? Why didn't you tell me?
Oh, you're really something, Righto. You knew this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true. Tragic, but it's true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death.
Hold it! How could you? You monster!
Miss Sky.
You knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't.
Miss Sky, it's not over yet.
What?
I said this trial isn't over yet. Huh, but I'm afraid it's over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career too. You personally concede conclusive evidence that, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy! What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gunn, you're absolutely right. The piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Sky, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this foolish babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth. What could it possibly contradict? Chief Gunn, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth.
What piece of evidence?
Present Lana picture. Lana's picture. Take that! And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes, his shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood in his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs no doubt were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth. Wait, there's no blood on it. Ah! Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword. No, this is nonsense. Now then, Chief Gunn, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Sky? Picked up the unconscious prosecutor and impaled him on the armor's sword. And to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. Then he broke the jar on purpose to leave behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out the bloodless piece of the victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it?
Though the very act of creating insurance, you prove that you are the actual murderer. No! And that's finished. Objection! Still again.
That was close, Wright. You almost had me.
Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see that piece of cloth? It's illegal evidence. Order! Order! What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Aji? Earlier, old Wright here concealed that piece of cloth. So then,
What's your excuse, Wright? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you?
Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth can cease to be legal evidence. But that's not fair!
Did you actually think you could beat me in court?
It looks like the last laugh's on you, son! I'm afraid Mr. Gann's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? True. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict him personally. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright? Seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, you admit to it that you purposely and illegally concealed this piece of cloth. I did not have sex with that woman. I did not. Certainly, I refused to present evidence at one point.
So the evidence is illegal.
Objection! No, it isn't, Mr. Gann. It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? There were certain procedures involved when presenting evidence.
No, Aji, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You can't let him. Objection!
There's only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well, let us settle this once and for all. Earlier you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not a violation of the law, then do so now. Present the evidence law book. Take that! This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law.
What's this?
I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at the point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more.
What?
You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department. Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case in trial. And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time, it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident.
What? What kind of nonsense is this?
You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and... Objection! Sorry, but you can't recall... Can you recall when was the picture presented? That was shown only a few moments ago.
No.
He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it its value as evidence was you, Damon Gann. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest.
Oh, yes. No!
It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the Chief of Police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before the prosecutor marshal in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer, and there's only one person who that could be. Damon Gant! The killer was you!
No, no. I knew I should have gotten rid of him.
That good-for-nothing scum! For 2 years he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me.
Crimes are being committed every day, and he insisted on hounding me.
Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty.
He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr, then convinced Bruce Goodman.
Detective Goodman?
Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is
The evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you got to help me.
Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit.
He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence.
Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden he had to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman?
Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He told me to reopen the evidence room and take it out. It's not too late. I'll hand this to Marshall. Well, to be honest, I was a little panicked too. I had a bad feeling about it, but never knew it would come to this. That's when I saw it. The accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. You could only increase the amount of blood, and you wouldn't finish what you started. Didn't read that bit? I didn't know who might stumble in, so I was wiping it up. I was worrying so much about that flaw, I didn't realize my mistake. Detective Gumshoe's bloody handprint.
I was to be known as the crime computer, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it.
Then you put the body in my car.
I'm sorry. We couldn't think of any other way to move the body. We broke the trunk. What's the big deal? You pulled down a lot more than us detectives.
What does he have to do with anything? You're horrible. How could you get Miss Sky involved in all this?
Well, she had so much to lose as I did if the truth came out.
So you took evidence from Detective Goodman's locker?
I feel bad for having to do it. I couldn't sit around and pick and choose what to take.
Well, you'd left the jar fragment in gloves.
Yeah, it looks like I was better off being an investigator than than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They did their jobs well, much to my dismay.
Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that.
Tell me, Worthy. What are you doing in court?
Me? Me?
You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me. We're the same.
Oh, don't pull the fucking "we're the same, you and I" bullshit.
One day, You'll understand. If you want to take them on alone, you'll figure out what's needed. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Udgy.
What?
Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. Just a bit of dramatic tension there.
I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator and example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person.
Those days are gone now, Udgy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, he'll be fine. Now, you have Wright here. Unworthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. You see, if I listen carefully, I can hear it right now. That sound of a new beginning.
Two things I want you to understand. Yes? First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until today.
So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered.
I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My, what high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you just might make it to the top. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Sky. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It's nothing. Liar. I was right the pressure might break you, and yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it, I only did my job. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of this. Miss Sky. Yes, Your Honor? You are innocent of murder, however. Although the Chief blackmailed you, the fact is, you still acted as his accomplice. The trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, not guilty! Oh, yes, it's over! We did it! Yes! That is all. The court is adjourned. February 25th, 5:03 PM, District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 2. At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook. But at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended. I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well. You know, I did my best too. But Lana didn't say a single word to me. Hope I'm not interrupting anything. For God's sakes, Gumshoe!
Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Fuck's sake.
Ah, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
This is the third time, Phoenix. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making the detective run all around while on duty. And to top it all off, you call me here. I've seen half of your people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding.
Oh, are you here because of my sister again?
Nope, not this time. I came to you because of you, pal.
Me?
That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone.
Lana!
Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell you. I won't tell if you won't.
Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day 2 years ago was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis, I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake, but now I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scarred that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me. No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day, in hiding what I believed to be the truth. I was deceiving you. Sis. I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. Oh, Emma. Emma.
Boom! Got him! Yes! No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because, in so doing, we can find the way back to our path. And once we found our path, we can move on from our past mistakes towards a brighter future. At least, that's what I felt looking at those two sisters make up.
Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe.
Me?
Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth?
Edgeworth?
Stop hiding and come over here.
Where was he hiding? I just came to say, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth.
Right, well, I'll be going now.
Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. You're the ones who acted corruptly, not you.
It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realized that today I can't change my own mistakes.
Mr. Edgeworth,
not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right.
You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day, you'll understand. If you want to take them on alone, you'll figure out what's needed.
I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime alone, one needs a weapon. It's scary, but I've been thinking the same thing for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might even have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand?
Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime, but they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime alone, one needs a weapon. That may be right, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright, and because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright?
Huh? What? Oh yeah. What is this a pop quiz?
Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lon is talking about.
Evidence that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own? Present the evidence list. Now, at some point you're given an opportunity to show something. So the evidence list. Present the evidence list. That's the idea, right?
Take that! That's the picture I drew.
Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list, and I had the other. Huh? We wouldn't have been able to completely restore him as picture.
That didn't just happen by chance, Edgeworth.
It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, what happened in this trial can either make or break you as a prosecutor. In the end, it's up to you. I know, it seems I owe you my thanks too, Wright. But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell.
I better be getting back too. Okay, I'll come visit you. Seems we both still have a lot to learn. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation. It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. I will.
And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I've faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go tricking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, he isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh?
Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side.
Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here is the one who'll be footing the bill.
Huh? Huh?
You think I could afford that with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal.
Huh? 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 Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best.
Why is it? I suddenly feel like I want to scream. Since we're all here, why don't we all go together?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys, let's go.
Objection! Wait, I want to click the objection button. Objection! And when yell objection. Objection! How do I? Objection!
It's not working. It's not working. Just press the Y button. What's the Y button? There we go, it's X. Oh, it's over. Oh, it's all over. I arranged for a friend. She's a coroner. I think Emma will be pleased. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back somehow. Then I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. Ah, God. Let's read off. Planning, Takeshi Yamazaki.
Yikes, I thought I was goner for a moment there. In the end, though. They overlooked my unauthorization investigation of the chief's office. If we penalized you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show. Can't shake me off that easily.
Aw, we don't get to keep Detective Gumshoe. Oh, God. Oh, God. Why don't we just call the main entrance and take care of Billy? Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping a guy at the entrance for me today. I'll show them though. So I'm gonna be a detective. Yes, sir. Then I can just be like Dick Gumshoe. Phoenix. What do I have to say about Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney? I love this game. I just really like it. I shouldn't, because it's just being a defense attorney. It shouldn't be fun, but somehow it is. I really recommend you go out and get this game. Just buy it right now. Just go on Amazon, buy this game. Fumikai Sato. Programming Hitoshi Sakai. Oh, God. Although, the yelling bit was a bit not great.
What is it? Can you see I'm having me a showdown with a steak lunch partner? This star man sneaked this in to me. He's seen one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. We even gave Bambi a back. Can you make sure Billy and that gang get their water?
Ah, Billy. Sound Akemi Kimura. Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put new meal on the menu. The right way. Oh, the top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom lays as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around the exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. Ah, God. Ben Judge! Oh yes! Ben Judge, my man. Localization. Brandon Gay is a name.
I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing something or other for how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I'd better be... Huh? Oh, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, gotta go.
Ah, Judge. Phoenix Wright is over. This has been a long series, and I'm happy we did it. I want to play the other games at some point. No, not next, though. Because that would be not great. I have a plan for what I'm doing next. I already know what I'm doing next, and you'll get that little hint. Ah! Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing Nick and his objections. Still, I can't go back until I'm full-fledged spirit medium. Maya, afternoon training's about to begin. Coming! Well, see you around, Nick. I'm glad we played this game. It may not have gotten the best of view-wise towards the end, but I still enjoyed it, even if you didn't, and that's all that matters. You know, it's just that I enjoyed it, and I'll be able to speak again. I haven't been able to speak for ages, you know? I've just been reading day in, day out, just fucking reading.
Mr. Edgeworth... Mr. Edgeworth?
I brought you your tea.
What's going on?
What's that letter say? Ah, well. Phoenix Wright. It's great. I just love the Ace Attorney series. I'm gonna play the others. At some point, we'll play the others on the channel. Not immediately. Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book.
What do you mean, open this book? Oh, the power of the DS. The last use. That was a cool photo. The end? Ah, God. Is this the end? Capcom. This is the end of Phoenix Wright. Well, what are we doing next? What are we doing next? That is a question you may be asking yourself. So, join me back here, not tomorrow, at some point, where we go in to a princess's castle. See ya.